The bank lobby went silent when Elaine Porter
Next
slid the
customer,
receipt
please.
back across the counter and said, "People like you don't get special treatment over $12. Marcus Bell only looked down at the faded
I just need
photo
the
of his
transaction
daughter
code.
tucked inside his phone case. Why would a single father
Internal
in worn
codes
work
are not for
boots stay
customers.
calm
Then show
while a
me the
manager
rule.
threatened to close his account? Why did the teller's hands begin to shake when she saw
People
the
like
name
you
hidden
don't
behind
get
his
special
profile?
treatment. Over
And
$12.
why did one small withdrawal request make the entire bank's private wealth team
That account belongs
rush
to my
downstairs? By the time Marcus asked for $98 million to
There's
be
a
moved
restricted
out
flag
before
on his
closing,
profile.
Elaine
Do not
finally
touch that
understood
screen.
she had not fired a desperate man. She had awakened someone the bank
Move the
could
full
not
balance
afford to
before
lose.
closing.
"Sir, step away from the counter." Calvin Reed said it at 4:18 p.m., low enough to sound polite and firm enough to make the lobby turn. Rain tapped against the glass doors of Harbor Union Bank, and every light pointed at Marcus Bell's worn boots, his jacket, the receipt between him and Elaine Porter. Marcus kept 2 fingers on the marble. "I asked for the transaction code," he said. "That's all." Elaine slid the receipt back. "And I told you the fee is valid. It was charged to a youth savings account. It was charged because the balance fell below the minimum. $12. Black ink. A number so small the man behind him gave a dry laugh. Marcus looked down at the phone beside the receipt. Under the clear case, a child's photograph showed a purple hair ribbon, one cheek, the edge of a missing front tooth. "People come in here every week with stories," Elaine said. "Children, lost jobs, excuses. We can't run a bank on stories." Maya Collins, the teller nearest Marcus, stopped typing. The little printer beside her gave one unfinished click. "Ms. Porter," Maya said, "there may be a flag on the profile." Elaine turned just enough. "Maya, finish window 3. Maya's hands returned to the keyboard, but she did not type. Marcus folded the receipt once, along the line where his daughter's name appeared. Lily Bell. He pressed the crease flat. "My daughter's lunch account is connected to this," he said. "Her school insurance draft comes through tomorrow. Show me where your system says this fee belongs." Near the rack, Dorothy Lane lowered her magazine. Elaine leaned closer. Her perfume cut through the lobby's coffee smell. "You are disrupting my branch over $12. A man in a gray suit shifted away. Near the deposit slips, Trevor Miles held his phone low. Marcus noticed. He turned his phone a half-inch, hiding more of Lily's photograph under his palm. "Then resolve it quietly," he said. Elaine smiled without warmth. "No, I'm going to document your behavior and close this conversation. I need that account active." "You should have thought about that before raising your voice." Maya looked up. He didn't. The lobby became still enough for the rain to sound louder. Elaine's eyes moved to the young teller, then back to Marcus. "Excuse me?" Maya swallowed. He didn't raise his voice. Calvin stepped closer. "Mr. Bell, let's not make this harder." Marcus lifted both hands a few inches from the counter. Empty palms. The receipt stayed under his thumb. "No one is making it hard," he said. Elaine picked up the desk phone. "Regional needs to be aware before I proceed." "Proceed with what?" "With account review," she said. "Possible closure." His eyes went to the clock above the vault door. 4:21 p.m. Lily's rehearsal ended at 5. Marcus reached for his phone. Elaine's hand snapped forward. "Do not record me." "I'm calling my daughter's school." "Not at my counter." Beneath the clear case, Lily's smile was almost covered by his palm. "Ms. Porter," he said, "you're making a mistake." Her mouth hardened. "No, Mr. Bell. I'm correcting one." Behind the teller line, Maya's monitor flashed. A small gold lock appeared beside Marcus Bell's name, then vanished before Elaine turned around. At 6:43 a.m., the kettle clicked off before the sun-cleared roofs of East Charleston. Marcus Bell stood barefoot on the cold kitchen tile, spreading peanut butter with the back of a spoon because the clean knives were still in the dishwasher. The apartment smelled of toast, laundry soap, and rain through the cracked window. On the refrigerator, Lily's note leaned crookedly. "Don't forget my song." "Dad?" Lily called. "My blue ribbon disappeared." "It relocated because someone left it on the piano bench," Marcus said. "That sounds like disappear with extra steps." "Shoes first, ribbon second." Lily came in, hopping on one foot. She already knew how to pretend not to see adult things. The electric bill under the fruit bowl, 3 envelopes on the refrigerator, the calendar square around today's bank visit. "You're still going?" she asked. "After drop-off." "For the $12? "For the principal." "That sounds more expensive." Marcus wrapped her sandwich. "It's your savings account. They charged it wrong." "It's okay. I have $9 in my drawer." "No." He kept his voice low. "You don't fix other people's mistakes with your drawer money." The heater knocked inside the wall. Marcus poured coffee into a chipped travel mug, then opened the cabinet above the stove. Behind a cereal box sat a black folder, trust papers and a card with a private number embossed in silver. He shut the cabinet before Lily looked up. "Are you working late?" she asked. "Not today." "You promised." "I remember." "My song is at 5:30. Mrs. Vega said parents sit in the first 4 rows. I'll be there. You said that last month and then the call happened." Marcus stopped with his hand on the lunch bag zipper. Last month had been a housing fund emergency. Lily only knew he had missed the last verse. "I know," he said. She rubbed one sneaker against the other. "It's okay." "No, it isn't." He crouched, the tile pressing cold through his pajama pants. "I'll be there before the first note." "Even if the bank is weird?" "Especially if the bank is weird." She studied him, then pulled the blue ribbon from her pocket. "You knew where it was," he said. "I wanted you to do the detective voice." He tied the ribbon carefully. The fabric was smooth, damp from her hand. A knock came through the wall. "Marcus, you decent?" Mrs. Alvarez called. "As decent as a man fighting a ribbon can be." The door opened 3 inches. Mrs. Alvarez leaned in with silver rollers tight against her temples. "Bus is early when it rains." Lily grabbed her backpack. "Abuela Rosa, Dad says he's winning $12. Mrs. Alvarez looked at Marcus over the child's head. $12 is only small to people who never had to choose. "You sure you don't want me to handle pickup if this bank thing takes long?" She added. "It won't. Banks don't like being corrected." Marcus reached for his work jacket. "They don't have to like it." Lily pressed a folded rehearsal program into his palm. "So, you remember the row?" she said. Marcus looked at the tiny printed line with her class name. "I won't need reminding." When the bus brakes sighed outside and Lily ran down the hall, he stood alone, holding the program beside the bank receipt. By 8:57 a.m., Harbor Union Bank smelled of floor polish and burnt coffee. Elaine Porter stood near the velvet rope, smoothing her cream blazer as clients stepped in from the drizzle. She watched shoes before faces. Polished leather went toward private desks. Work boots waited at the counter. "Window 3 is for deposits," she told Maya. "Fee reversals are policy first." "Yes, ma'am." "And don't let stories become exceptions." Elaine glanced at the doors as Marcus Bell entered, shaking rain from a jacket mended at one cuff. He wiped his boots twice, took a number, and sat without checking his phone. Elaine's mouth tightened. "Here we go." Maya followed her gaze. "Do you know him?" I know the type of visit. Marcus placed a folded receipt on his knee and covered it with both hands. B17. The screen chimed. Maya raised her hand. I can help you here, sir. Thank you. Marcus slid the receipt beneath the glass. A $12 charge was applied to my daughter's youth savings account yesterday. The terms say no minimum balance for minors. Maya read the receipt, then the screen. Lily Bell? Yes. Custodial minor? That's correct. Her fingers moved, then her brows drew together. This is strange. Elaine heard it. What is strange? Maya straightened. The code used isn't the youth savings code. It looks manual. Elaine stepped closer. Manual adjustments happen. For fee assessment? Maya. The teller's cheeks colored. Marcus did not lean forward. May I see the transaction code? Elaine gave a short laugh. Internal codes aren't customer documents. I need written confirmation of the basis for the charge. You need to file a request. Then I'd like to file it. Elaine looked at his jacket, the receipt, and the line behind him. Mr. Bell, we do not reverse valid charges because a customer dislikes them. Marcus folded the receipt along one edge. You haven't shown it's valid. The man behind him shifted his umbrella. It's $12, he muttered. Marcus turned enough to see him. He said nothing. Elaine caught the silence. Other clients are waiting. I'll step aside when you give me the dispute form. Maya reached under the counter. Elaine's hand came down on the folder before Maya could lift it. I will handle this, Elaine said. Mrs. Lane looked over her glasses. Young man asked plain enough. Elaine kept her smile on Marcus. This is a regulated environment, Mrs. Lane. Marcus looked past her to Maya's screen, where a tiny service icon blinked, vanished, then returned. Your system is showing a restricted note, he said. Maya's shoulders tightened. Elaine turned sharply. How would you know what our system shows? The reflection in the glass. For the first time, Elaine had no quick answer. Calvin looked up. Marcus placed the receipt flat on the counter. The number B-17 stuck to his palm. I'm not asking for kindness, he said. I'm asking for the rule you used. Elaine tucked the dispute folder against her side. Then you can wait, she said. And while you wait, lower your tone. Maya blinked. He hasn't raised it. Elaine did not turn around. The smile stayed, but it no longer matched her eyes. Window 3, she said. Take the next customer. Window 3. Take the next customer. Maya did not move. The printer beside her blinked, waiting for paper. Rain slid down the glass doors behind Marcus in 2 thin lines. Elaine turned to the lobby. I apologize for the delay. We'll have this cleared in a moment. Cleared. Marcus heard the word land harder than it should have. He lifted the paper number from his palm. B-17 had stuck there, damp at the corner. He placed it beside the receipt, not crumpled, not torn. I can wait, he said. No, Mr. Bell, you can step aside. I'm still a customer. A customer refusing direction. The man with the umbrella sighed. Some of us have jobs. Marcus looked at him once. So do I. Elaine's eyes flicked to his cuff. Then you understand time has value. Mrs. Lane closed her magazine. So does speaking to people properly. Calvin moved from the lobby pillar. His keys clicked against his belt. He stopped 3 feet from Marcus. Sir, Calvin said, give her some space. Marcus slid his hand off the counter. The marble had left a pale line across 2 fingers. I'm asking for the transaction code, he said. 1 printed line. Elaine tapped the receipt. You're asking my employees to expose internal information because you don't like a fee. Maya whispered, The dispute form includes the code category. Elaine's head snapped toward her. Not another word. Trevor Miles raised his phone from the deposit slip table. Its black screen reflected fluorescent lights and Elaine's cream blazer. "Are you recording?" Elaine asked. "Checking my messages." "No recording in the branch." "There's no sign." "There doesn't need to be." Marcus turned his phone face down. Under the clear case, Lily's photograph pressed against the counter, hidden except for the purple ribbon. "You're making a scene," Elaine said. "No. You are describing one." A sound passed through the line, not quite a laugh, not quite a breath. Elaine's face tightened. "People like you walk in here thinking volume replaces policy." Maya's mouth opened, then closed. Marcus removed the folded rehearsal program Lily had given him. For a second, he checked the time near the bottom. "If you want to complain," Elaine said, "do it online. I want the printed dispute form here. You don't get to dictate our process. Your process says a customer may file at point of service." Calvin shifted his weight. "Mr. Bell, maybe take the online option." Marcus looked at him. "Would you?" The guard's answer got caught behind his teeth. Mrs. Lane stood. "Young man, I'll wait behind you." "This is exactly what I mean by disruptive," Elaine said. The wall clock clicked to 9:12. Maya pushed the dispute folder forward with the back of her hand. Elaine saw it and pulled it away. "Enough," Elaine said, her voice rising over the lobby music. "You are wasting everyone's time over $12. Marcus's fingers tightened once around Lily's program. The paper bent, then relaxed. He placed it beside the receipt. "Please don't involve my daughter in this, more than the bank already has." Elaine picked up the desk phone. "Calvin," she said, "stay with him." The red hold light on Maya's phone began to blink, though no one at her window had placed a call. Elaine kept the receiver against her ear while the hold light blinked red on Maya's phone. "Regional Operations," she said. "Elaine Porter, King Street Branch. I need guidance on account closure for disruptive conduct." Marcus turned his phone over. The screen showed 9:13 a.m. and one missed call from Lily's school. A second later, the voicemail icon appeared. "Ms. Porter," he said, "before you use that word in a recorded call, be precise." Elaine covered the mouthpiece. "You do not advise me on bank language. I'm advising you on accuracy." The line behind him thinned as people moved away from the counter. Trevor's phone stayed low. Mrs. Lane stood with one hand on her cane. Calvin cleared his throat. "Maybe use the side office." "No," Elaine said. "He can hear procedure." A man answered through the receiver. "Yes," Elaine said. "I have a retail client refusing staff direction, demanding internal documents, and interfering with operations." "And the balance?" Elaine clicked through the profile. "Checking. Youth savings. Ordinary retail relationship." Maya's monitor gave a soft chime. "Elaine." Elaine lifted one finger without turning. Marcus's phone vibrated again. School. This time, he answered. "Mr. Bell?" a woman said. "This is Low Country Arts Academy. Lily is fine, but her fee payment declined this morning. We need it corrected before release." The lobby air felt colder near vents. "I'll correct it." "It says the account is under review." "I know." "Lily is worried you won't come." His hand moved to the program. "Tell her I have it in my pocket." Paper rustled. "I'll tell her." Elaine watched him end the call. "Personal calls need to be taken outside." "That account cannot be closed today," Marcus said. Elaine repeated into the receiver. "The client is escalating." Maya stood so fast her chair wheels tapped the cabinet. "He isn't." The lobby heard it. Even the music seemed too soft to cover it. Elaine lowered the phone. "Sit down." No, ma'am. Maya's voice shook. The account is linked to a school payment and insurance. If we close it under conduct review without documenting the dispute, compliance will ask why. Compliance will ask what I tell them to ask. Mrs. Lane whispered. Lord. Elaine smiled into the phone again. One moment. Then to Marcus. You may sign a voluntary closure form, and we can release funds by cashier's check after verification. Voluntary? You are choosing to end the relationship. You're choosing it for me. I'm offering you dignity. The word hung between them like perfume turned sour. Marcus picked up the receipt. The paper had softened from his damp fingers. He folded it once, along the fee line. Dignity would be correcting the fee and restoring my daughter's payment link. Elaine's jaw tightened. Calvin, escort Mr. Bell to the consultation room while I complete the report. Calvin did not move at first. Now, she said. Marcus slid his phone into his palm. Lily's photo flashed beneath the clear case before he turned it inward. Maya leaned closer to her screen. There's another flag. Maya? It just appeared. The red light on her phone went dark. Her monitor flashed a gold lock beside Marcus Bell's name. Elaine saw it. The gold lock stayed on Maya's screen for less than a second, but long enough for Elaine to stop breathing through her nose. What was that? Elaine asked. Maya's finger hovered above the access key, close enough to touch it, too afraid to press. Restricted profile note. Elaine stepped behind the teller line. You are not authorized to open that. I didn't. It surfaced when you entered closure review. Calvin stood beside Marcus, no longer reaching for the consultation room door. The lobby smelled of wet wool and lemon cleaner. Near the coin machine, a plastic bank dropped and spun before a child grabbed it. Marcus watched Maya's screen in the glass. Please save the activity log, he said. Elaine turned. You don't instruct my staff. I'm asking her to preserve what happened. For what purpose? For accuracy. Mrs. Lane took one step forward, her cane tapping marble. Manager, the young man asked for the rule. That is all I heard. Elaine's smile returned, thin and bright. Mrs. Lane, this is not a community meeting. No, the older woman said. It is a room full of people pretending not to hear. Maya pressed one key. The printer woke with a dry scrape, then stopped. It says escalation hold. Elaine moved closer. Step away. If I step away, the screen times out. Then let it time out. Marcus placed both hands at his sides. Maya, you have no obligation to risk your job. The sentence gave her a way out. Her shoulders lowered, but her finger remained over the key. Elaine leaned close enough for Maya to smell mint gum. You are 27, 6 months into a permanent position, and already forgetting chain of command. Maya straightened her badge. I remember chain of command, she said. I also remember compliance training. From the waiting area, Dorothy Lane said, Good. Marcus did not turn, but he heard the word land. Elaine lifted the dispute folder. Print nothing. Say nothing. I am handling the client. Maya's eyes moved to Marcus. Sir, do you still want the dispute form? Yes. Elaine slapped the folder flat on the counter. The sound cracked through the lobby. You will not process that. The man with the umbrella muttered, This is ridiculous, but his voice had lost its bite. Marcus looked at the wall clock. 9:19. Lily's missed call was still on his screen. Ms. Porter, he said, my daughter's payment must be restored today. Elaine lowered her voice. Then maybe choose cooperation over performance. Maya inhaled, reached into the drawer, and pulled out a blank dispute form. Her hand shook so much the paper brushed the metal slot twice before she slid it under the glass. Elaine's head turned slowly. Maya. The young teller's eyes shone, but she did not pull the form back. He has the right to file. For 1 second, the only sound was rain ticking on the doors. Marcus took the paper, folded it in half, and placed it beside the receipt. "Thank you," he said. Those 2 words nearly broke her composure. Elaine's phone rang again. This time, it was not the regional line. The display showed private client services. Maya saw it first. Then Elaine did. The red light blinked once, twice, and Elaine let it ring as if the sound itself had become a warning. "Take him to the consultation room," Elaine said, though her eyes stayed on the ringing phone. Calvin touched Marcus's elbow. Marcus looked down, and Calvin removed his hand. "I'll walk." The lobby opened a narrow path. Shoes shifted on marble. Trevor's phone lowered as Marcus passed, then lifted again when Elaine turned away. "Save the log," Marcus said quietly. "Maya, don't touch that terminal," Elaine snapped. Maya's fingers froze above the keyboard. Mrs. Lane's cane tapped once. "Young lady, remember what you saw." Calvin opened the frosted glass door. Inside, the room smelled of stale coffee and toner. No window. 1 table, 2 gray chairs, and a framed poster that said, "Trust starts here." Elaine stopped at the doorway. "You'll remain here while I document the incident." "Will I receive a copy?" "When appropriate." "That isn't a time." "You're not in a position to set terms." Marcus placed the receipt and dispute form on the cold table. "My daughter's account is still under review." "Because you escalated the matter." "Because you selected that option." Elaine opened her tablet and typed. "Client refused staff instruction. Client demanded restricted records. Client caused disruption." Marcus read upside down. "Add that I requested a dispute form. You interrupted me repeatedly. Add the request." The private client phone stopped ringing. Elaine's office line began. Maya's voice carried faintly. "Ms. Porter, they're asking for you by name." "Tell them I'm unavailable. They said it concerns a restricted relationship." The phrase changed the air. Calvin looked at Marcus, then away. Elaine closed the tablet. "Stay here." Marcus checked his phone. 9:24 a.m. A message from Low Country Arts Academy sat on the lock screen. Lily is sitting in office with her backpack. His thumb hovered. Calvin saw enough. "Your kid?" "My daughter." "You need to call?" "I need the account restored." The guard glanced toward lobby. "I was told to keep you here." "You were told to escort me." Calvin rubbed a scratch on his buckle. "There's a difference?" "There should be." Only the vent hummed above them. Maya appeared at the doorway, pale but steady. "Mr. Bell," she whispered, "the activity log is preserved." Calvin stepped in front of her. "Maya." "I'm getting paper clips," she said. Marcus nodded once. "Thank you." Behind her, Elaine's voice rose from the manager's office. "I'm telling you he is a retail client in an active conduct review." A pause followed. Then Elaine said, "Lower? What do you mean, no retail classification?" Maya's eyes moved to Marcus. Elaine returned, holding a warm printed form. "You will sign this acknowledgement. It confirms you were asked to leave voluntarily." Marcus read the first paragraph. The paper smelled hot from the printer. "No. This says I refused lawful staff instruction and abandoned the dispute. You are refusing to cooperate. I'm refusing to lie." Calvin looked at the floor. Elaine pushed a pen across the table. It rolled until it touched Marcus's folded receipt. "Sign it, and we can end this cleanly." Marcus looked at the receipt, then at Lily's program in his jacket pocket. He did not touch the pen. Outside, Maya's printer started again. The printer outside the consultation room scraped, paused, then scraped again. Elaine's pen lay against Marcus's folded receipt. The room had no window, only a square ceiling light and a vent pushing cold air across the table. "Read the second page," Marcus said. "You've had enough time." "I'm reading what you placed in front of me." "You are delaying." Marcus turned the warm page with 2 fingers. Halfway down, under voluntary closure, one paragraph stopped him. "Funds may be held pending internal conduct and source verification review." Elaine saw his hand go still. Standard language. "For accounts being closed under suspicion. For accounts requiring review." "You told Regional I was disruptive. This lets you hold my daughter's funds." "Temporarily." "How temporary?" "As long as necessary." A clear drop clung to the rim of the plastic cup. Calvin shifted near the door. "Ms. Porter, maybe he can file first and sign after." Elaine turned. "Are you advising clients now?" "No, ma'am." Marcus folded the page back. "I won't sign." Elaine leaned forward. "Mr. Bell, you walked in over $12. You can walk out with your balances if you stop making this difficult. My daughter is sitting in a school office because you placed her account under review. You keep invoking your child as if that changes policy." He looked at her, not sharply, just fully. Elaine looked away first. Through the wall, Maya's voice came muffled. "Private Client Services is still holding." Marcus took out Lily's folded program. The corner had softened where his thumb kept pressing it. He set it beside the cup. "Her song is tonight," he said. "I'm not preventing you from attending a school event. You are preventing the payment tied to it. That is not the same thing. It is to a 10-year-old waiting with a backpack." Calvin's jaw moved once. Elaine noticed. She tapped the signature line. "Sign. Receive a cashier's check after verification. Leave." Marcus did not answer. The drop fell from the cup rim and darkened the paper towel beneath it. Elaine lowered her voice. "You're a single father, right? Then think like one. Don't turn a fee dispute into something that hurts your household." Marcus's hand closed over Lily's program. "Do not use my household to sell me your mistake," he said. Calvin almost missed it. Elaine pushed the form back. "Fine. Refusal noted. Add that I refused the hold clause. I will add what is relevant. That is relevant." A knock touched the door. Maya stepped in, carrying paper clips she did not need. Her badge was crooked, her lips pale. "Ms. Porter," she said. "Private Client Services asked for the manager, then for Mr. Bell." Elaine stood. "You gave them his name?" "They already had it." Marcus slipped the program back into his pocket, then picked up the receipt and dispute form. He left the closure papers on the table. Elaine moved into the doorway. "You are not walking back into my lobby." Marcus looked past her to the frosted glass. "I don't need the lobby," he said. "I need a phone line and the full activity log." Maya's fingers tightened around the clips until the box bent. Outside, the private line rang again, and this time the sound did not stop. The private line rang until Elaine reached it with the careful speed of someone crossing ice. "Elaine Porter," she said. Marcus stood in the consultation room doorway. Calvin was beside him, no longer blocking the way. Maya held the bent box of paper clips against her stomach. Elaine listened. Her chin changed. "No, this is the branch manager," she said. "Yes, Mr. Bell is here. He is in conduct review." The red light pulsed on the phone base. On, off, on. Elaine covered the receiver. "Mr. Bell, did you contact someone?" "I made one call." "To whom?" "My client representative." "You mean an attorney?" "No." Elaine lifted the receiver again. Could you repeat the department? The voice came through loud enough for Calvin to hear. Private wealth client continuity. Calvin looked at Marcus as if the worn jacket had become a disguise. Elaine turned from the lobby. There must be confusion. The profile is ordinary retail. The person on the line spoke for a long time. Elaine did not interrupt. Marcus's phone vibrated. Mrs. Alvarez had texted, "Lily still wants you in the front row." He typed, "I'm coming." He did not send it yet. Elaine gripped the desk. "I understand the relationship has restrictions, but my screen shows limited access." Maya whispered, "Because you're branch level." Elaine heard her. "What did you say?" Marcus said. She answered the question. The voice on the phone cut through Elaine's reply. "Yes," Elaine said. "He is within earshot." Another pause. "Adrienne Vale?" she repeated. Marcus stepped to the office threshold. "Put her on speaker." "That is not branch protocol." "Then hand me the phone." Elaine looked at the lobby. Mrs. Lane had not sat down. Trevor stood near the deposit slips with his screen lowered. Elaine pressed speaker. A woman's voice filled the office. "Mr. Bell, this is Adrienne Vale with your family office liaison team. Are you safe to speak?" The word safe struck the room differently than disruptive. Marcus looked at Calvin. "Yes." "Are you being prevented from accessing account records?" Elaine reached toward the button. "Ms. Vale, I need to clarify. Please don't disconnect the call." Elaine's hand stopped. "We received your message about an unauthorized fee, pending closure review, and hold language applied to accounts linked to a minor," Adrienne said. "Is that accurate?" "It is." "Do you authorize escalation to senior relationship management?" "Yes." Elaine forced a smile. "Senior management should know this client created a disturbance." Marcus placed Lily's program on Elaine's desk. "My daughter is waiting at school because of this review," he said. The speaker stayed quiet for half a beat. Then Adrienne said, "Ms. Porter, preserve all video, notes, terminal activity, call logs, and printed drafts connected to Mr. Bell's visit. Do not alter anything." Elaine's fingers slid from the desk edge. "On whose authority?" "On the authority of the client relationship your branch appears not to understand." "Mr. Bell," Adrienne said, "I can restore linked payment protection from my side. Do you want Harbor Union to retain custodial services after today?" Elaine looked up quickly. Marcus picked up the unsigned closure form. "No," he said. "No," Marcus said. The word settled over Elaine's office like dust after a slammed door. Adrienne Vale did not hurry. "Understood. Do you want a full external transfer initiated today?" Elaine lifted a hand. "That requires verification." "Ms. Porter," Adrienne said, "please allow my client to answer." "My client." Maya heard it from the teller line. Calvin heard it by the door. Mrs. Lane tightened both hands around her cane. Marcus checked the clock. 9:37 a.m. Lily was still waiting at school, but the evening had not been lost. "Yes," he said. "Move the custodial relationship and liquid reserves out before close." Adrienne's keyboard clicked. "Confirm the amount." Elaine gave a brittle laugh. "This is a youth savings dispute." Marcus set the unsigned closure form on her desk. $98 million, he said. The office went so quiet, the lobby music returned in thin pieces. Grant Holloway arrived 7 minutes later in a navy suit, damp at the shoulders, carrying a leather folder and a practiced smile. "Marcus Bell?" he said. "Grant Holloway, Regional Director. I believe there has been a misunderstanding." Marcus shook his hand once. "There has been a documented process failure." Grant's eyes moved to Elaine. Conference room, now. In the larger room, the air smelled of new carpet and warm toner. Grant sat at the head of the table. Elaine took the chair beside him, pen above a legal pad. Marcus chose the seat facing the glass wall. He could see Maya. "Let's reset," Grant said. "We value every relationship. Then restore my daughter's account. Already being handled. In writing." Grant nodded. "Of course, and regarding the transfer, decisions of this scale should not be made because of one uncomfortable interaction." "The transfer is not emotional." Elaine's pen stopped. Grant opened his folder. "A relationship of this size involves tax concerns, timing, liquidity planning. We should not let a branch matter harm your household." Marcus slid the receipt to the center of the table. "Correct that. Restore the linked payment. Preserve the activity log. Acknowledge that your closure form would have held funds after a false conduct report." Elaine looked up. "False is a serious word." "So is voluntary." Grant's smile faded. His phone buzzed. He read the screen, and color rose behind his ears. "Private Wealth wants a bridge line." "Put it on speaker," Marcus said. Grant tapped the phone. Adrienne's voice returned. "Mr. Bell, payment protection for Lily Bell has been restored. The school should receive confirmation within 10 minutes." Marcus's shoulders lowered. He typed to Mrs. Alvarez. "Tell Lily I have the program. I'll be there." Then he placed the phone face down, hiding the photograph. Adrienne continued. "Transfer documents are ready pending dual confirmation. Mr. Holloway, please confirm preservation of local records." Grant picked up his pen. "The branch will cooperate fully." "Not cooperate," Marcus said. "Preserve." The pen hovered over the signature line without touching it. Grant swallowed. "Preserve." Elaine stared through the glass at Maya, who had both hands flat on her counter. Outside, Trevor's phone lit with a new message. The video had already started moving. Denise Rowe arrived at 10:16 a.m. with a black laptop bag, square glasses, and a paper cup she never drank from. She did not greet Elaine first. She listened to rain on the glass doors, then looked at the teller windows, the consultation room, and the camera above the deposit slips. "Freeze all local records," she said. Grant Holloway tried to smile. "Denise, we've agreed to cooperate." "I said freeze." Maya Collins straightened behind window 3. Her badge was crooked. She fixed it and stepped out. Elaine watched her. "Maya, return to your station." Denise turned. "No one returns anywhere until I know who touched what." Mrs. Lane sat with her cane across her knees. Trevor Miles lowered his phone. Marcus stood near the glass with Lily's program in his pocket and the $12 receipt in his hand. The paper had gone soft. Denise opened her laptop. "Mr. Bell, did anyone raise a voice before Ms. Porter contacted Regional?" "No." "Did anyone ask you to leave before the dispute form was provided?" "Yes." "Who?" Marcus looked toward Calvin. Calvin swallowed. "I did, after Ms. Porter told me." Denise typed. Elaine folded her arms. "This is framed unfairly." "Then records will help." Maya came closer. "I preserved the activity log." Elaine's face tightened. "Without manager approval." "With compliance training," Maya said. Denise looked up. "Show me." Maya led her to window 3. The screen had timed out. For half a second, her fingers missed the first key. She erased it, then entered her code. The terminal opened with a blue-gray glow. "There," Maya whispered. "Fee assessed manually at 7:42 a.m. yesterday. Code changed from youth account to standard savings." Grant leaned in. "By whom?" Maya clicked once. "System user ePorter." Elaine's lips parted. "That was routine." Marcus looked down at Lily's name on the receipt. He did not speak. Denise printed the log. The machine spat pages with a warm chemical smell. "And the conduct review?" she asked. Maya scrolled. Opened 9:14 a.m. closure draft generated 9:23. Hold clause attached because conduct review was active. Denise took the pages. Camera export next. Elaine moved beside her. "I want counsel present." "You may call counsel. You may not delay preservation." Mrs. Lane stood slowly. "Do you need what we saw?" Denise softened her voice. "Yes, ma'am." Dorothy Lane took off her glasses and laid them beside the witness form. The arms were bent unevenly, and one lens had a scratch. "He asked plain," she said. "That's what I'll put." Maya's throat moved. Elaine looked away. Calvin stepped forward. "I need to correct my incident note." Denise pointed to a desk. "Write what happened, not what you were told to call it." Marcus's phone buzzed. A text from school read, "Payment confirmed. Lily is back in rehearsal." He read it twice. Adrienne Vale's voice came through Grant's speaker. "Mr. Bell, the transfer queue is ready." Marcus turned the receipt over in his palm. "Hold 10 minutes, he said. Elaine looked at him with sudden hope. Marcus did not look back. He watched Maya sign her statement with a hand that finally stopped shaking. "I want the record finished first," he said, as Denise sealed the printed log in a clear sleeve. By 11:05 a.m., the second-floor training room had become a hearing room. 3 folding tables formed a U-shape. The air smelled of dry marker, old carpet, and coffee left too long on a warmer. Rain tapped the narrow windows. Denise Rowe sat with the sealed activity log. Grant Holloway sat beside Victor Sloan, bank counsel, smoothing his tie before each sentence. Marcus chose the chair closest to the door. Elaine sat across from him, her blazer buttoned wrong. "Let's keep this preliminary," Victor said. "No one is making conclusions today." Denise opened a folder. "We are preserving facts today." Mrs. Lane lifted her scratched glasses. "Facts don't mind daylight." Victor smiled. "This is an internal bank matter." "I saw it in a public lobby." Hannah Brooks, a local reporter with rain-dark curls pinned at her neck, stood near the back wall because the lobby video was online. Maya sat 2 chairs from Marcus, hands folded around her crooked badge. Denise clicked the projector. Grainy lobby footage appeared on the wall. Marcus at the counter, Elaine leaning forward, Calvin near the pillar. No sound, only movement under flat fluorescent light. Victor cleared his throat. "Without audio, interpretation is limited." Trevor Miles raised his hand. "Mine has audio." He set his phone on the table. The speaker crackled, then Elaine's voice filled the room. "You are wasting everyone's time over $12. Marcus looked down at the receipt. He had heard it before. In the room, it sounded smaller and worse. "I'm not asking for kindness," Marcus's recorded voice said. "I'm asking for the rule you used." Mrs. Lane closed her eyes. Victor stopped touching his tie. Grant looked at Elaine. "Did you file that as a raised voice incident?" Elaine stared at the video. "I perceived escalation." Maya's voice came thin but clear. "He didn't raise his voice." Victor turned. "Ms. Collins." "No," Denise said. "Let her finish." Maya pressed her thumb against her badge. "He asked for the dispute form. I reached for it. Ms. Porter stopped me." Elaine whispered, "You don't know pressure in that lobby." Mrs. Lane put on her glasses. "Pressure is not a license." Denise slid a sheet toward Dorothy. "Please describe what you heard." The old woman uncapped a pen. Her fingers were bent, but the first line came steady. Marcus watched the clock. 11:18. Lily would be eating lunch in a cafeteria that smelled of pizza crust and disinfectant. Victor leaned toward him. Branch staff must manage disruptions. Marcus folded the receipt. Yes. Then you can understand why a manager might act quickly. I can understand quick. I cannot understand false. The room went still. Hannah's pen moved across her notebook. Denise placed the printed fee log beside the witness forms. The fee was applied under the wrong category. The closure review opened before the dispute. The hold clause followed automatically. Victor exhaled. Those are process issues. Marcus set the receipt in the center of the table. A process touched a child's lunch account, he said. Then everyone called it policy. No one answered. Outside the blinds, rainwater ran down the glass, and Elaine finally stopped looking at Marcus and looked at the receipt. Grant Holloway waited until Denise Rowe stepped into the hallway before he changed seats. He moved from the head of the tables to the chair beside Marcus, lowering his voice as if distance could make the room forget what it had heard. Victor Sloan closed the door halfway. Rain hissed against the windows. Mr. Bell, Grant said, I want to apologize for the way this morning unfolded. Marcus looked at the receipt. Unfolded is a gentle word. Mishandled, then. Victor slid a folder forward. We can resolve this privately today. Written apology. Fee reversal. A contribution to your daughter's school arts program. Marcus did not touch it. What about the conduct report? Removed, Grant said quickly. Not corrected. Removed. Victor folded his hands. A corrected record can create exposure. For whom? Grant leaned closer. For everyone. The branch? Staff? Even Ms. Collins. Maya's badge clicked against the table. Marcus turned his head. You're offering silence by spreading the cost. No one said silence. You said private. Elaine finally spoke. I wrote the apology. Her voice scraped. She opened her laptop. Dear Mr. Bell, I regret any inconvenience caused during your visit. That isn't an apology, Marcus said. Elaine swallowed. I can revise it. Mrs. Lane tapped her pen. Start with what you did. Elaine's eyes flashed, then dulled. I made a judgment. You made several, Marcus said. Denise came back carrying a clear sleeve with another printed log. It already became an investigation. Behind her, Hannah Brooks stood at the threshold. Mr. Holloway, do you have a statement on similar complaints? Victor stood. This is a closed internal meeting. Hannah held up her phone. 3 former customers contacted our newsroom in the last 30 minutes. They say fee disputes were marked resolved without contact. Elaine looked at Grant. Grant did not look back. Denise set the log down. 8 reversals denied under the same manual category this quarter. Victor's folder stopped moving. Maya whispered, I remember too. Grant's face hardened. Careful. Maya gripped her badge. One was a nursing aide. She cried in the parking lot because her rent draft bounced. Elaine closed her eyes. Marcus stood. The chair legs scraped the carpet. This is not about me leaving with a better deal, he said. It never was. Grant's calm cracked. You are risking jobs over a $12 fee. No, Marcus said. Your system risked people over $12 fees. Elaine turned the laptop toward herself. She selected the first sentence of the apology, deleted it, and stared at the blank line. Victor tried once more. Mr. Bell, what exactly do you want? Marcus folded the receipt and placed it in his jacket pocket beside Lily's program. A public correction, protection for Ms. Collins, review of denied disputes, and no closure holds without independent approval. Adrian's voice came from Grant's speakerphone. Those terms can be attached to the retention decision. No, Marcus said. Attach them to whether the public hears the whole record from me or from you. Elaine's blank email waited on the screen, and for the first time all morning, no one told Marcus to lower his tone. By 1:42 p.m., the lobby no longer sounded like a bank. No music, no greeting from the teller windows. Only printers, low voices, and rainwater dripping from umbrellas onto the black mat. Beside window 3, a temporary sign had been taped to the glass. Customer disputes will be reviewed before account restrictions. The tape was crooked. Marcus stood before it with the $12 receipt in one pocket and Lily's program in the other. Elaine Porter sat inside her office, typing. Grant Holloway had removed his jacket. Denise Rowe placed 3 pages on the counter. Emergency changes approved for this branch. Marcus read the first line. Independent review before closure. Yes. Not just for today. Permanent pending board ratification. Victor Sloan shifted. Language matters. We can call it branch-level practice. Marcus looked at him. Customers don't live at branch level. Maya lowered her eyes. Mrs. Lane made a small sound. Grant rubbed his forehead. Company-wide interim directive. 30 days for full review. Denise wrote it in the margin. Issued by 5. And prior disputes? Marcus asked. 90 days back, Denise said. 1 year, Maya said. Everyone turned. Color rose in her cheeks, but her hands stayed flat on the counter. If this only started this quarter, fine. If not, 90 days hides it. Marcus said, she's right. Denise crossed out 90 and wrote 12 months. Calvin Reed stood by the entrance, cap in his hands. What about security notes? If a manager says disruptive, it goes into our log. We don't verify. His thumb scraped the brim. I wrote what I was told, then corrected it. Denise added, security incidents require witness note and video timestamp. Mrs. Lane stepped close to the sign. Print it larger. Some don't carry reading glasses that work. Maya took a blank sheet and a thicker marker. Her hand did not shake. She copied the notice and taped it over the crooked one. Elaine opened her office door. The lobby quieted. I sent the correction, she said. Victor stiffened. To whom? To the customers affected this quarter. Her voice was rough. It says the bank is reviewing improper fee handling and prior resolutions may have been inaccurate. Grant stepped toward her. Elaine, you were not authorized. I know. She looked at Marcus, then at Maya. Marcus checked his phone. 1:58 p.m. Lily texted, Mrs. Vega says I can still sing tonight. Are you coming? He typed, front row. Then he looked at Denise. Ms. Collins keeps her job. Denise answered before Grant could. She is under witness protection within the company. And no retaliation here. Grant's mouth tightened. Agreed. Written. Denise slid the page to him. Grant signed. Calvin stepped forward. Mr. Bell. Marcus faced him. I should have listened before I moved you. Marcus studied the guard's hands. Next time, Marcus said, listen while you're told not to. Calvin nodded. At window 3, Maya smoothed the new notice with her palm. The paper made a dry whisper against the glass. Marcus did not smile. He looked once more at the word review, now thick enough for anyone in line to see. Then Adrienne Vale called, and the transfer documents waited for his final answer. At 5:22 p.m., the auditorium smelled of dust, waxed floors, and paper programs. Marcus Bell sat in front row with his coat over his knees. The rain had stopped, but drops still clung to the windows. In his pocket, the $12 receipt rested beside Lily's program. Mrs. Alvarez slid into the seat next to him. You made it, she whispered. I said I would. You also say you don't need sleep. That part is under review." On stage, Lily stood in the second row, blue ribbon tied slightly crooked. She searched the audience until she found him. Marcus lifted 2 fingers. She did not wave back. She only stood taller. His phone vibrated once. Adrienne Vale had sent the final confirmation. Transfer completed. School payments protected. Marcus turned the screen down. Mrs. Alvarez saw. "All of it? Enough. And the bank?" Changed more than it wanted to. The piano began. Lily missed the first breath, then found the note with the others. Her voice was small inside the group, but Marcus heard it anyway. 3 weeks later, Harbor Union released a public report. It listed improper fee handling, incomplete dispute records, and conduct reviews opened before complaints. Elaine Porter was removed from branch management and entered compliance retraining before leaving the company. Grant Holloway was reassigned while an outside audit reviewed closure holds he had approved. Maya Collins stayed. A new sign stood beside every teller window. Customers may request written dispute review before account restriction. She still fixed her badge when nervous, but she no longer lowered her eyes when managers crossed the floor. Calvin Reed began asking one extra question before escorting anyone anywhere. The first time he did it, a supervisor frowned. Calvin wrote the answer down anyway. Dorothy Lane came back with scratched glasses and a jar of peppermints. "For steady hands," she told Maya. Hannah Brooks published the story without turning Marcus into a hero. She wrote about $12, a child's lunch payment, and the machinery that can make a person disappear behind a label. Former customers called the hotline. Some got refunds. Some only got letters. Marcus read none of the comments. He read Lily's homework, the grocery list, and one envelope from Elaine that arrived with no logo on it. Inside was a handwritten note, 5 sentences long. No excuses, no mention of pressure, policy, or misunderstanding. Only what she had done and who had paid for it before anyone listened. He folded it once and placed it in a drawer, not with the receipt, but not in the trash. On the last Friday of October, Marcus and Lily walked past the Harbor Union branch on their way to a diner. Through the glass, Maya helped an older man read a form line by line. Calvin held the door for a woman carrying folders. Lily squeezed his hand. "Is that the place?" "Yes." "Are you mad when you look at it?" Marcus watched the customer notice taped straight against the glass. "Not today." "What happened to the $12? He took the receipt from his pocket. The ink had faded at the fold, but the number was still there. He handed it to her. It bought a rule. Lily held it carefully, as if it were more fragile than money. At the diner, she placed it beside her menu and ordered pancakes for dinner. Marcus did not correct her. The receipt stayed on the table. If this story reminded you of a moment when someone was judged too quickly, share it in the comments. Sometimes the smallest unfair charge, the coldest sentence, or the quietest dismissal reveals a much bigger problem. Send this story to someone who believes dignity should never depend on appearance, money, or status. Subscribe for more stories about justice, quiet strength, and the kind of change that begins when one person refuses to lie about what happened. And if you have ever seen someone stand calmly while a system tried to shrink them, tell us what you remember most. Your story may help someone else feel less alone.